guess the thing everyone wants to know is that the Origin boys are going to back up this weekend?
Yep, yeah, they're all ready to go. They came back in today, obviously yesterday off, and fresh and ready to go. So yeah, another day's recovery is pretty important after a brutal game like that, but they'll be right.
I guess how much does it affect your bench composition and rotation when you've got to bear in mind those guys have played 80 minutes? Yeah,
it's pretty normal. You know, obviously year on year you have the Origin players that come in and out, and you prepare early week without them, and then they slot back into their usual roles if they come through Origin fine. So there's no difference there. We were prepared, and then they're ready to slot back in tomorrow.
You obviously subscribe to the backup theory. You're a fan of that?
Look, it depends which game and how many weeks in, and the individual. You know, the first one, players are ready to do it and get into it. As the series goes on, that varies.
So how happy are you to have those guys back, like Teddy at fullback for a big game?
Yeah, it's always good. I really obviously like Joey playing there last week and did well in Ted's absence. But yeah, it's good to have your captain back in and playing. Obviously getting Toops back. You know, he's been a constant there for a decade, and then Lindsay getting back into the pack there without Jared there's a needed return.
Storm obviously had a lot of Origin players as well, and Cam Munster, I mean, we know he's dangerous, but a man of the match in Origin is obviously very focused or in great form.
Yeah, played really well the other night. Obviously dominated that game, which was well done to him and Queensland. That was a performance, and you know we know how we want to play, and you know we respect our opposition, but we also we want to attack the game how we think it should be played in a Roosters style. We want to play our best footy and understand what the opposition is going to come with.
Robbo, the under-19s Origins coming up, each team's allowed to pick a couple of under-20s. Have you talked at all to Sam and Joseph about whether they'd be interested in wanting?
No one's selected. Talk to me about that at all. So you know that hasn't been raised by anybody at the NRL. They're NRL players.
Is there any sort of feeling that if they were picked, I know the NRL sort of set those as some players that might be picked by the teams?
I haven't heard anything from the NRL about anything about players getting selected. So.
Would it be a concern if they were to be selected?
Well, they're NRL players that play week in, week out footy. So, you know, we expect them to play NRL. You know, in the history of our game, the players haven't played their age group footy once they become NRL players. So I don't think that would change.
And the boys looking forward to coming up against Brandon Smith this weekend?
Look, it hasn't been mentioned. You know, that's something for next year. We're looking forward to improving on our game and righting some wrongs that we thought we did last weekend. So that's insignificant for this weekend. We want to play a good brand of footy. We want to get back to some of the starts that we've had really well over the last month, and we want to nail that.
It's kind of strange that we lose two coaches.
Yeah.
Probably longer served than coaches that respective clubs play each other. I mean, you've obviously got a great chairman, and you did it in your previous club, and everybody's sacked. How have you been able to guarantee your longevity as a coach?
Look, I don't know whether it's the day to go into that. It's, you know, you realise everybody. The beauty of doing our job is everyone has an opinion on what you should do or shouldn't do, or your decisions. So, and that's why we're in entertainment. We enjoy that, but it's also a tough gig. You know, obviously, Trent and Madge. They're good people. You know, they love their job. They've invested a lot of time over decades in this job, and then they lose it in the last couple of weeks. It's tough on friends and family around them, and it brings it back to a bit of reality. So you just got to continue to work hard, be clear on your focus, and keep serving the club that you're at in the right way. So it's disappointing, but we also know our industry.
I don't know how much of it is having a strong club behind you that you're allowed to make mistakes, because that's part of learning as a coach. When you make mistakes and learn from them, having that backing and support.
Yeah, it's, you know, you just, when you get started, all you want to do is win the next game. You're just trying to keep your head above water and trying to get some wins, and when that trust develops over a period of time, and it has to be there, that trust from top down has to be there. And the vision has to be clear from all parties, whether that's board, CEOs, coaches, players. And when that's aligned, it can ride the peaks and troughs. But you've got to have more peaks and troughs to stay in the business.
Back at the SCG as well, after a couple of weeks away, but I guess it's made all the more special considering that, you know, the announcement yesterday that Allianz is going to be the home. So I guess how much importance do you place on that?
Yeah, how many we got left? How many, what are we, probably 3 or 4 maybe games at the SCG. And I remember when I was an assistant coach, we played one game in 2010 there, a game against St George, and it was always that mythical place to go and play, and now we get to call it our home. And I think we really enjoy going there. We really want to do it justice over the last part of the season before we get into the big shiny new thing next door, which is going to call our home for a long period of time.
That big shiny new thing
Yep.
was the Sydney Sports Ground, which Easts, the name you're wearing,
Yep.
has a big history to it. Given that, is it a no-brainer that Easts and Souths open the stadium?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a no-brainer that, you know, we're from 1911, you know, from 1908, we were just here. This area, whether it's been the showground here, whether it's been the sports ground, whether it's been the SFS or the SCG, or even sports ground number 2, this has been our home. This has been our turf for that period of time. So it's a respect thing, and it's great that we're going to open it.
Trent, I think it's a few years since you've been the Storm. Does your team have to get pretty much 100% right to have a chance against a team like that?
No, I think that's just disrespectful to sort of phrase it that way. You know, we know what we need to do. We don't need to be perfect. We need to be very good at our job. We need to respect the game of rugby league, and then we need to attack moments within that to dominate the play.
Manu, is he this generation's Luke? I think Luke represented at NRL level in every position on the field, and then several positions at representative level. You've put him in a hole, and he's always excelled. Has he become a better footballer because of that?
I think, which came first? I think the ability to put him in different positions is a credit to him, and his ability to mentally shift between the roles that he needs to play. But his ability to see the game from different angles means you can move him into different positions, because all he needs to do is go, okay, I can play 5'8". What am I going to do that week? He doesn't get long usually to refocus. But it's not only about playing that position, it's how do you then make it your own or excel at that. And to do that within a week is a credit to him. He is a top line player, and we love having him in. And he was kept searching for that game last week and didn't quite get there. But he's great to watch.